Okay, hello casual game design class. I decided to make a video to supplement my post to kind of chronicle what I've been working on the last 2 weeks or last week when it comes to my prototype. Where I started with my prototype is drastically different from where I ended up. I started wanting to make kind of a puzzle music hybrid game, but I also really wanted to get a working prototype together, and since I like design and management and stuff like that, I'm not a very good programmer, and I am teaching myself how to code as I go pretty much. So this class, although it's been really fun, it's been really challenging on a couple different areas because we've had to make some sprites and do some art, and through that learn some animation. And I've never done any of that stuff before, but found out that I really liked it, and I'm gonna show you some of that stuff now. So the first thing that we animated in this class was, like a character in the game, and at the time I had like a Japanese setting for my game, and I wanted like a magical carp. And I found this awesome website called piskelapp.com that lets you animate different stuff. And it has a pretty simple but really deep editor that lets you put the pixels down. And what I really like about it is you can duplicate your drawing, whatever you make, to the next frame really easy just by hitting a button. And then when you move to the next frame, you can hit this onion over here and you can see what you drew in the last frame, which makes it really, really easy to animate things. Not only that, but it helps keep track of your colors over here that you've used, so that when you're dealing with like 8-bit and 16-bit like pixel art, you don't want to use too many colors. I guess keep the constant aesthetic, and this helps keep track of that. There's also a layer system that lets you do some different things. I messed around with it a little bit, but not a whole lot. It's pretty similar to Photoshop, but not as deep as Photoshop by any means. But yeah, so this was my first guy. He was, like I said, a carp. You can see the animation over here, and what's really cool about that is you can turn it up to see, oh, what would this look like at all the way up to 24 frames a second to 2 frames a second. You can export really easily a sprite sheet, which is like super awesome when it comes to animation and Unity, because it spaces everything perfectly, that when you put it in Unity, it'll cut everything for you when you're working on one animation. You can also export as a GIF, which is what I've been using to put into the discussions, and then you can also save all these things to this website, and also on your personal computer. It's pretty awesome. So the next thing I worked on, when I started animating, actually getting into Unity, I found that I made my first guy a little bit too small. So the next thing I did was I went back in and I made a new one. And I realized that with my first guy, with the top-down view, I kind of wanted to show with his tail and his fins that when his fins were down, it was dark, and when his fins were up, it was light. And it worked out okay, but not perfect. Then I realized that it looked a little bit better when he made it look like you couldn't see it at all anymore. So, I think my second attempt at animating a swimming fish from above went a lot better, as you can see right here. So the next thing I did was I'm like, well, I want some other characters for my game. And I went to a shark because it was Shark Week at the time. And this was a lot bigger than the carp. And I looked at a lot of pictures of sharks and just tried to get a general outline and went pixel by pixel. And got his fin moving a little bit and his jaw. And his smile is a little janky, but I think for like my third pixel art drawing ever, I thought it was pretty good. Then I moved on to an octopus, which I really like his head, and I hate his arms, and I hate everything else about him. I didn't end up using him for anything. He was kind of like, I learned a lot with him. His arms were short to begin with, but then like these ones ended up getting cut off, and the GIF looked weird, and I like his head, like I said, I like his eyes, I don't like anything else. Actually, I think he messed up a little bit on his eyes. I think they're, I don't know. In any case. So that led to, I wanted something, I really like octopuses, but I really like jellyfish as well. And I wanted something more simple and something I could keep better track of the arms. So I moved on to this jellyfish. And as you'll see later, he ended up being a really happy mistake. But if you can check out the animation over here, he bounces up and down. His fins kind of go out, but they also kind of jiggle on the way up and down because it was really simple just to move the pixels just a little bit, like in the third frame. And the fourth frame, see it's like a wave, and then flail him out so it looks like he's swimming at the same time. And then we got like these 4 dots up here. And my first iterations, those didn't change color, but now they do. So he kind of looks kind of like majestic, or, you know, I don't know. And once you have that down, and you can kind of like save as, and then you can just start messing with colors. You know, you get it's jellyfish around the world, all different colors. And then I started like messing with my favorite sports teams, like the Buffalo Sabres. And then I came to the conclusion that, you know, you can't really have jellyfish and sharks and then a carp, a freshwater carp, fighting jellyfish, because that doesn't make any sense. So I went to redesign my carp so he didn't die instantly from being in salt water, and I made a clownfish. He's the same body type, same size, just different colors, and it was actually a lot more challenging than I thought, because before I had a top fin right here, and I got rid of the top fin, even though he should have one. You've got to use your imagination, and getting these stripes in and getting the colors right was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, because clownfish are hard to draw. Then I had to make a projectile, and you'll see why in a little bit. This is a bubble. And then we'll get to that in a minute. So let's go over to Unity, and we'll check out what happened. So at first my game was supposed to be a music game, puzzle game, and as I got to looking at how you do things in 2D and programming and looking at tutorials, I realized that I was out of my scope, I was out of my depth. So I kind of moved to a shooter, but still keeping an aquatic theme. And I learned a lot when it comes to coding and player movement and stuff like that, and spawning and creating prefabs and stuff like that. Because once you create a prefab and once you get a script and you're able to apply that to your animation, man, it makes everything really awesome. But anyways, here is my game. I'm gonna just maximize on play, and here we go. It's a simple 2D shooter. As you can see, there's my shark in the background. He's just background, and you got some arms moving. Here come the jellyfish. Hold spacebar to shoot. Arrow keys move you around. If you get hit, you become invulnerable for a little bit, like that. You got 2 hits per life, and 1 hit kills a jellyfish with a bubble. You can just hold down spacebar, and it just kind of works out like that. See, I just died. One thing that I haven't been able to figure out is how to randomly generate my player spawn. So you kind of always spawn there, so it's good not to die around where you spawn, because all the jellyfish will be there and you'll just get a hit taken away. So they all instantly turn towards you right when you start. As you kill them, the more that are killed, the faster their code is set to regenerate. So they just come faster and faster and faster and faster. Not their speed, but the rate at which they spawn. Each jellyfish is set to a different value for how fast they can make a turn and how fast they travel. As you can see, actually I don't see a whole lot of them because I'm killing them so quick. But if you see a red, white, and blue jellyfish, they don't turn very fast at all. There's my game over, so sad text. Not very big. Oh, there's an American jellyfish top of the screen. And there's another one. But they just keep spawning. Anyways, that's the game. So you might be asking yourself, why didn't I use the shark that I took so long to put together? Well, I ran into a big problem with the shark, and that is when I wrote the code for him, um, which I have, and I will turn on now. Move forward towards the enemy and faces the player. You're gonna see. Now he doesn't have a hitbox, so he's not gonna be able to detect. He looks like he's drunk. He looks like he's left shark from the Super Bowl. He does not. Doesn't cooperate at all. I haven't figured out how to keep him straight and have him not rotate. I know it has to do something with the animation states, and like when you're facing this way, then this, and flipping around, and that's kind of out of my depth right now. I'm still learning that stuff. So when I thought about how to fix it, or at least how to use him, I thought about Street Fighter 2. And how in those backgrounds, those fighting games, they have 2D animations of guys cheering and like chickens flapping their arms and stuff like that, and it looks kind of cool. So I decided to just put him in the background as an animation, and that's where the idea for the giant octopus arms kind of coming in and out of the screen came from. I think right now it might be a little bit overdoing it with how big they are, but I think they look cool. Oh, I also want to note that the background is just a placeholder background. I did not draw or animate or even take a picture. I think that's, yeah, it looks like a real picture. It might be a fake picture. That's not mine, it's just a placeholder. I take no credit for that. I found it on the internet at a free wallpaper website. Anyways, I'll turn that off. I think that's pretty much all I have to show you. Let's see. I'll go back to my art. Here is the tentacles. I started with a real picture and kind of did an overlay on top of it, the outline, and then I filled it in myself the best I could. As you can see, I've got some work to do. Originally, in this frame, it wrapped all the way around this right here, and there was some interesting work with shadows and stuff to do, like here, and this should be kind of out more and should be where his tentacle is getting dark, but I'm not an artist. I'm learning this stuff as I go. I really like it, it's a lot of fun, but I need to work on it. In any case, pretty proud of having a working prototype up from scratch, from the beginning. You can see, background shark, cheer and yawn. I wasn't able to get scoring to work. That's my next goal, is to get scoring and get a start screen and maybe an all-time high score. That would make me happy. And get joystick support. I'd really like to make this a twin stick shooter and maybe get some power-ups, stuff like that. Even though this class is about to end, I would really like to just keep messing with this and see how far I can take it. Maybe I can make it a lot cooler than this. But, oh yeah, the happy accident. Jellyfish I just picked because I like jellyfish and I like octopuses, but jellyfish, no matter which way they're swimming, they're kind of swimming the right way, because they're jellyfish. That's what they do in real life anyways. It doesn't work like that with sharks. They just look like they're drunk. That's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed the video, and any comments, both on school, or I think I'm going to share this on Facebook as well. If you have any comments, just let me know. Thanks, guys. Bye.